Welcome to this edition of Extra Credit, the DMPS program that goes beyond our regular assignments for an in-depth look at the school district. Today we're talking about equity, and joining me are Associate Superintendent Matthew Smith and our Equity Coordinator Gilmara Villanova-Mitchell. Thank you both for coming in.
You bet, thank you.
Well, first we want to explain, and it's a question that we get a lot, what is the difference between equality and equity?
Sure. Gilmara, you want to start?
Equality is when everybody receives the same. So sameness is the outcome, and equity is when we give each individual what they need, so it's based on needs.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I can add anything better than that. That was pretty much perfect.
And we have an illustration up on the screen right now. You can see on one side, everybody has a box. On the other side, one person may have two boxes, one person one box, and a third person may not need a box at all.
Well, in this topic, it comes up a lot in schools and in our community and in conversations with our students, oftentimes around routines and procedures, for the school and within the classroom. And so a lot of times where it manifests itself is someone raises a question or a challenge or a concern around why do we all have to do this, right? And so we have to be very intentional in our conversations with students and parents and with our staff around recognizing the difference between a routine and a procedure building wide that creates safety for all versus talking about a system of equity or inequities and being able to challenge those inequities within our systems and our practices. And so it's an important conversation, and there's an important distinction between the two.
Mm-hmm. And what are some of the inequities that we want to address?
A number of things, from student access to advanced placement courses, to programs, to activities, and outcomes, specifically our outcomes, right? So we're all about student learning and opportunities for students to achieve at very high levels and be able to open up doors of opportunities when they graduate from our classrooms.
So instead of doing, for example, the same thing for an entire classroom, you look at each child individually and what they need to get to where they need to be.
Perfect example. Absolutely.
Okay, very good. What are some of the ways that we're going to see this implemented in our schools this fall?
You want to start?
Well, we are really trying to leverage community, family, and student voice in the work we do as a district. And so, for example, at Roosevelt High School, the leadership team has been utilizing students as part of the planning committee for their professional learning opportunities for teachers. And so teachers and students sit together and look at lesson plans, and students give teachers feedback, and we are trying to use our student advisory team for the district, their input to guide our work as a leadership team in the district. And we want to keep families and communities and students as connected to the work as possible, because without their input, we can't get to the right solutions for how to serve them better.
Perfectly. Other examples are the district-wide scale-up of our School Connects app, which is a dual translation app and allows us to speak with our families whose primary language is something other than English. Oftentimes in the last several years, we've been able to communicate in approximately 7 predominant languages. The School Connects app also allows us to connect with our families whose language is something other than those 7 primary languages. And so we're able to create much more of a synergy and energy around what's taking place in their child's school day, what's taking place at home, so that our relationship grows and we create a more unified and collaborative bond around how to best support their child.
And provide access to families who are not English native speakers. The other thing that I want to mention too is that several of our schools are piloting unique conference formats for families. And so instead of having just a traditional conference format, they're trying to have options for families to choose from so that they can go to a place of worship and have more of a collective team conference format, or they can have a home conference, or they can come to the school. And so I know that the schools that have piloted that have been encountered with a lot of positive feedback. And I hope to see that growing, because I do think that every family is different and the preference for how they want to connect and have a relationship with the school is different as well.
Well, I can see there will be a lot unfolding this fall as we go. We'd like to check in with you a little bit later on in the year and see how things are going, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Perfect. That'd be great.
Thank you both
Thank
for
you,
stopping in.
Amanda.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching this edition of Extra Credit. To learn more about Des Moines Public Schools, visit dmschools.org.